Thanks for listening into Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Of course, we ask you to head over to our YouTube page, put in your browser Locked On Sports Atlanta, subscribe to our YouTube channel there, give us a review, tell us what you think of the show, leave us a comment, and I want you to follow me on my Twitter page. It is at JMCH316. Travis Schlenk was on with the morning show on the radio station that I work for, 92.9 The Game, yesterday, and was talking about this offseason. And the Hawks are about ready to start having guys in for pre-draft workouts. I don't even care about the draft. In all honesty, I know they got 2 first-round picks. Who cares? We're way past all of that. Okay. This is an important offseason to decide, are we more like the team that fought and struggled this past season to get in the playoffs, or are we more like the team that locked up a spot and made a run at the Eastern Conference Finals? And I understand the East got better last year and blah, 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 right? Okay. I think Travis Schlenk is poised to make a big, splashy move. He was talking yesterday about the roster, that he admitted that they probably should have done something in hindsight. They probably should have made a move or two, done something different or what have you. He kind of owned up and understood the fact that they didn't do a whole lot, to change up or improve this roster. I don't think Travis Schlenk is going to make that same mistake twice. I think Travis Schlenk knows that right now the Hawks are in a sort of a precarious position because this team, this franchise could go one direction or the other. Struggle to get in the playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals. Where are we? Where on the pendulum are we? We barely making it in, Eastern Conference Finals. So I don't think he's going to make the same mistake twice. And I don't think it's a matter of, and he talked about we got free agents. Okay, every team in the league's got free agents. Okay, you got ham and eggers that are free agents. All right. The main core of your team is signed. Trey is signed, Collins signed, Capella signed, Herter signed, Hunter signed, Gallo signed, Bogey signed. The main guys of your team are all signed. Okay. All the rest of those pieces you can fill yourself in. You want DeLon Wright back? Fine. You bring DeLon Wright back. I mean, I'm talking about the big core of your team. They're also teetering on the luxury tax. So you're probably not just going to sign a big name guy, just for the sake of signing him and squeezing him in or whatever like that without getting into a lot of luxury tax. There are names being brought up, but what I believe is that Travis Schlenk is going to make a big, splashy move. He's going to bring in a high caliber player onto this roster. Now, there are names being bantied about. A lot of them I don't like. Okay, we can run through them. First off, Zion. All right. Zion's played 85 games in his first 2 seasons in the NBA. I'm not enamored with Zion at all. I love when he's on the court. He's a tremendous player. But if I only got a guy for 40 or 50 games, that does my franchise no good, especially when I'm going to pay him $1.5 gazillion to be on it. And he looks like a guy who's trying to eat his way out of the league. Hell, I could do that. Feed me and I'll eat my way out of the league for $1 gazillion. Karl Anthony Towns. Didn't they just kind of give away a playoff series against Memphis? I know he puts up all these numbers, but how good is their franchise? What's he done to lead them? And they had at least 3 games that they could have won in that series that they blew. So I'm going to bring a guy in who can't even take the franchise he's at now and kind of try to turn them in a good direction. I'm not enamored with guys who are really good on really bad teams. Rudy Gobert is a name that's being thrown about now. Okay, don't I have the poor man's Rudy Gobert already in Clint Capella? Who, by the way, Gobert is about to be a $40+ million player. He's got 38 or whatever this year that he's going to make, and he's going to be in the 40s after that. That's great. You got him locked up. He's 15 points and 15 rebounds, and that's all. Look, he may be the best defensive player in the league. He leads the league in rebounds. But I've got a guy in my post already that's locked up for half of his money that gives me 14 rebounds and 14 points. I don't think if I swap out, because basically what you're going to have to do is trade Capella and another player to probably Gallo or Bogey to make the money work right for Gobert. Okay, does adding Rudy Gobert with Collins and Herter make them that much better? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think that adding a fit, they don't need a guy who scores 15 in the paint. They need a perimeter player who's 25. That's what they need. They need a wing player who can give them 25 a night out there. Now, two names that are interesting. Obviously, the one that's always brought up is Bradley Beal. He's going to cost you a crap ton of money, and he's under contract, and he's got $38 million. He's another guy that you're going to have to give up some assets for. I'm okay with bringing in Beal. It's going to cost you a lot, but I'm okay with that move. And Donovan Mitchell is the other guy that I'm very much intrigued by. Something tells me Utah may have to sort of hit the reset button. That I'm not saying that they're ready to blow their team up or anything like that, but Utah feels like a team that is going to have to figure out or change up what they're going to do. Now, Mitchell's a guy, he played only 67 games, but he's 26 points, 5 assists, and 4 boards a night. That's the kind of guy that this team needs. I don't know what the trade compensation and the package is for it. It probably includes DeAndre Hunter, which is probably not going to be popular. But if that's what it takes to bring in a Donovan Mitchell, I'm all for it. And I'm all for the idea of, at this point, outside of Trae Young, I'm not protecting anybody. Now, my personal opinion, do I think that they're going to trade John Collins? I don't think they are. I don't think they signed him for $125 million to play 1 year and then move him on. I think they want to keep Collins and bring in another guy to complement Trae and John, like a guy that wedges right in between what those two guys are. But everybody else, I mean, I do think that anybody could be moved. Now, Gallo and Bogey become the most obvious choices because they're, those two guys are $40-something million worth of salary. But then again, you have to ask yourself, what's the market in those guys? If I'm trading a star player, with all due respect, the talent doesn't match up. The contracts may match up, but the talent's not matching up for all of it. So it's going to be a difficult process for Schlenk. But I don't think that when he talks about this roster, that he's talking about, we're going to add a backup point guard, we're going to get a little bit better defensively. No, I think he understands they need another star. And look, the whole league's looking for those guys, right? I mean, that won't be unique to the Hawks, but I think he understands they need a star player. And he talks like a guy, just in listening to him speak about it, that knows and understands that they have to get this thing on track. They have to, again, then pendulum, are we, Eastern Conference Finals, struggling to get in the playoffs? They've got to bring that thing back over to this side and get this thing. The only way you're going to bring it back over to this side is you got to add a star. You can't just add your backup point guard and a wing defender and get a little bit better defensively and this and the other. You have to add a guy who can be a player that comes in and can give you 25 or 26 a night. And who knows, maybe it's a point guard that lets Trae, they've already talked about this, hey, maybe Trae Young has to play more without the ball. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know how, much Trae is in tune with the coaching and stuff like that to say, okay, I believe in this system or whatever like that. But whatever it takes, they've got to find a guy. And I get the sense that Travis Schlenk is going to be uber aggressive. He may not add a bunch of pieces, okay? I don't think he's going to overhaul the roster because people are under contract. But I think whatever move that he does, there's going to be a big splash because he knows his job is on the line. If Nate McMillan doesn't get this thing turned around, his job may be on the line because last year was not acceptable. To take that big of a step back is not an acceptable thing for this franchise. And it's going to make this franchise look like last year or 2 years ago, I should say, was a complete fluke. Watch for Travis Schlenk to make a big, bold move. All right, we thank you so much for being a part of our show. Thanks for making Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery your first listen. Don't forget, make ATL Day Ones your second listen. My buddies Jarvis Davis and Tanitra Batiste take you all through Atlanta. Just a couple of friends that are talking about Hawks, Braves, Georgia, all things Atlanta sports. Hell, probably even some HBCU conversation as well. But always a fun time with them. Make them your second listen. And again, we want you to go over to YouTube and be a part of our channel there. find at Locked On Sports Atlanta in the YouTube browser. Hit the subscribe button. Leave us a review. Tell us what you think about the show. And always follow me on my Twitter page at JMCH316. All right, we will be back with you tomorrow. Appreciate it. And thanks for listening to Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery.